another edition of the Athletes Hub with my friend here today, Dylan. Dylan's, you're a proper Chelsea fan, as I say. You're a season ticket holder, following them for a lot of years, and I know it's a bit of a different time now at Chelsea. New owners, recently a new coach as well. So yeah, I mean, in terms of like the coach, actually, I want to start on the coach because Pochettino come from Tottenham. I don't know. Did you ever feel like you'd have a coach from Tottenham at Chelsea?
It's normally the other way around, isn't it? It's normally the
Yeah,
start Chelsea
yeah,
and then up Spurs. Um, I mean, given the situation of where we're at the moment, I think anything's sort of possible at Chelsea. I think I can't remember the size, a club the size of Chelsea going through the amount of change that we've seen over the last 12 months at um, any club. I think even sort of United went through a big change under Ferguson, but it took like a longer period of time. And sort of, yeah, other sort of smaller clubs are coming into the clubs. Like changes there aren't like big, but yeah, I think you can expect anything. But yeah, Spurs to Chelsea isn't one that you normally see too often. But I
yeah.
think, yeah, can't complain.
I mean, are you? I don't know. I looked at Pochettino and I thought, like, obviously, a great outstanding coach, but I think at the time that he was appointed as the successor to Graham Potter and obviously Frank Lampard, was he like the best of the bunch out there? If you had to pick one coach, I know that, Nagelsmann was a candidate to take Chelsea job as well. Did you feel like Pochettino was probably the best candidate out there to take the job?
I think it's an interesting job to take on. I think the position that it was at with Potter and Frank when he came in, I think regardless of who he brought in, it was sort of an impossible job. I think there were too many players. I think they were too unhappy. None of them were really playing to anywhere near their potential. I think it sort of needed someone who wasn't gonna. You didn't need like a Pep Guardiola to sort of have a philosophy and then give that to the players. You just need someone to come in, have a sort of sense of what they wanted the team to look like, and then be able to get rid of a lot of players as well. I think a big part of this season is almost just the upper management saying we don't want these 10 players, let's get rid of them and generate as much cash as possible. Let's see what players we want to keep and let's see where you want to invest the money. I think the manager is important. I think there needs to be someone who's looking to build, and I think the club is sort of aligned to wanting to bring youth in. So it needs to be someone who's willing to give youth a bit of a chance, and then also someone who's willing to sort of build something. I think you saw Tuchel towards the back end where some of the signings we were making, like Sterling and Kukurea, etc., they were very much signings for getting a result tomorrow, as opposed to maybe thinking a bit more long term. We could have given a bit more of a chance to Lewis Hall instead of signing Kukurea. We could have given a bit more of a chance to some of our youth players instead of signing Raheem Sterling, but Tuchel's under pressure to, I need to win a trophy like ASAP. Let me get someone in who can just do the job straight away. I think Poch obviously is going to want to win trophies straight away, but I think he's probably more aligned with the higher ups at Chelsea to deliver that long term plan, and he's done it before at Spurs. I think
Hmm.
he comes across as quite a good character as well to sort of build a team. So I think he ticks a lot of the boxes, and he seems to be quite eager to get back involved in football management. It's been a little while for him, so overall, I can see why he's picked, and
Yeah,
hopefully, yeah, he do well.
yeah. I love the points you mentioned there about building a team, young players. But I think as we were growing up, Chelsea, I think the last 20 years, Chelsea have been, I guess, known for winning trophies, and under a certain ownership, that was the goal. The players you signed, the managers that you brought in, you guys brought in managers who would win, as you've mentioned before with Tuchel, getting signings and managers in to win tomorrow. And that's what Chelsea was known on. You used to get the best in class, whether it was Mourinho or Ancelotti, Conte, AVB, Scolari, just the list goes on really. So I guess under this management now or the new ownership, do you feel like that's still going to be the same? Because Pochettino has not got a great track record of winning trophies, and Graham Potter was the same, and obviously Frank Lampard came in and didn't quite get the job done. So do you still see that at Chelsea? Are you guys still a club that demands winning? Because the appointments you've made haven't necessarily. I know you probably mentioned about it's got to be a process of building now, but Chelsea have always been a club that have signed players and managers to get results and get trophies straight away. So do you still see that now, Pochettino? Do you rate him as a manager, or how do you see it?
Yeah, I think ultimately it's too early, but I think it's still that is still in the DNA of the club. I think you saw that with sort of sacking Potter when we did. I think we could have stuck with Potter for a bit
You
longer,
say
even though
DNA, but the DNA was the owner. The DNA was Abramovich. He was the guy
I
who
think,
made the decision. So Charles, that was it. When he left, Chelsea quickly went the opposite
agreed,
way.
agreed. But I mean, like the team that we had under Abramovich at the end was completely different. 11 players at the start, but I still feel like the play style was sort of the same. I still feel like we always sort of wanted to play with like a really strong number nine, almost in that Didier mold, even to the very end. And we always had sort of like a, a sort of a powerful team who I think in sort of big occasions could turn up. And I think you've changed the players, but the sort of same sort of squad sort of survived. I think the managers still need to deliver trophies at the end of the day from start to finish. And even though we've got new owners now, I'm not saying it's going to be the same under Abramovich as it was under new owners. I think sort of what I started with is to be seen. I think they'll probably be a bit less ruthless than Roman was, especially at the start of his tenure. I think Roman towards the end probably wasn't as ruthless and gave his managers a bit more time. I think all of the managers he sacked after he sacked Jose in 2016 were probably about reasonable. Um, but I still think they need to put in like the trophy. I think that Pochettino's going to need to eventually win something. I think he'll be given the season to sort of get the team together because I think after finishing 12th, I think it'd be unrealistic to say you got to win the Premier League next season. It's just too big a jump. But football isn't sort of linear. Like we could win a trophy this season. We spent as much money on our squad as anyone else in the Premier League. We've got talented players there. We've got players who have won things before, players who are hungry to win things now. I don't see. I think the pressure is on Poch, even though he won't admit it. They're going to be having conversations between him, the board, etc., about what the targets are. And I can't believe in his 1, 2, 3 year plan, whatever his contract length is, that in the coming second year, he's not targeting Premier League, he's not targeting Champions League, etc. Because it's just, given the level of investment, it's just necessary.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you go to Chelsea a lot. You go to watch games there a lot, and I think with Pochettino, like I said, with him, I think he's a coach that will get teams playing good football. I think he'll construct an 11 that will challenge. They will, high energy, high press, attractive football on the eye to watch, which Chelsea fans would want. And I think probably in the last couple of years, you've not had that as much going there. So, what's success for Chelsea this year? Do you feel like you winning a trophy and maybe finishing in the top 4, is that a good season for Chelsea, or would you say you've got to be? I know you mentioned not challenging for the Premier League, but realistically at Chelsea, I don't think any manager is gonna. I think probably the only manager I'd say was given a pass at the time was probably Frank Lampard because he had a transfer ban in the club and he couldn't sign players. Whereas, as much as Pochettino has been, I guess, in the unfortunate situation of not having been backed at Tottenham a lot financially, I think at Chelsea now he's got the funds now. He's got owners who will spend. So how long would you say it's got to take him to kind of get the team up and running and also challenging for major trophies, like the big ones?
Yeah, I think it depends how he does. I mean, look at Arteta. Arteta's had about a good 2.5 years before he ended up challenging for the title, and even then he didn't win it. I think for me, I think it'd be really strong if we saw some of those signings where we spent a lot of money, start performing this season. Like if Modric had a really strong season, if Jackson had a really strong season, if we had nothing, they've spent a lot of money in a lot of different areas, haven't seen any of that come back at all. I think even if you finish sort of like top 6, ideally top 4, but had some really strong performances across some of those key areas, and that could be really good. A good cup run would be like really strong for us as well. I don't think there's necessarily. I think it depends on how we look as opposed to what tangibly we do. Isn't if we look like
is that enough though? As a Chelsea fan, would you say, okay, we look all right, but we're not winning anything? Like that's what again, growing up when we grew up, Chelsea were winning everything at the time. They were a successful club, and
I get what you're saying.
At the time,
I just think where we're at, that's where we'll be. And I think if we're playing well, then I think we'll eventually like winning things as well. And when I say like how we look, I think if we go to City and get a result, if we like beat City this season, if we go to the Emirates, if we like look competitive, if we do have a decent run, I think ideally top 4. I think it's got to be like target for Pochettino as well, and how we look going for it. Because I think realistically, Man City first nailed on sort of top two. Everything after that, I think it's for grabs. I don't think we're
I think Man
necessarily
City, Man United are top two, but yeah, carry on.
cool. Um, I think after Man City, I think Arsenal are obviously a really strong team, but Arsenal, United, we'll see how this striker you signed does, but still TBC for United for me. Liverpool are in that same bracket, and they're probably the three strongest teams I can see. But I don't think Chelsea are like too far off those batch of teams. I think we're definitely a level of, not say a level above Spurs, but probably around that sort of Spurs Newcastle level. But I don't think the bridge is that far between those three teams. The three teams just below Man City. So it'll be a strong season if you finish top four. I think a cup is a cup, but I think top four would be a really strong season for Pod.
Yeah, you mentioned Mudryk there as well. I think he's probably one of the standout signings in January when he came into the Premier League. There was a lot of hype around him before he signed for Chelsea. I think Arsenal were in for him as well. What play? I know Chelsea have actually offloaded quite a few players as well this summer. Cavani's gone. Kovacic has gone to Man City. Kante's gone. Aubameyang's left. What players do you sort of see having a good season? Because I personally feel like I know Mudryk came in halfway through last season, and I think
Mm-hmm.
coming to January into a new club, it's going to be difficult. It's a Premier League's different game. It's physical. It's very high paced. I feel like he would actually suit Pochettino's game because I watched a few of his games in pre-season, and Mudryk is very energetic. Like he gets around the pitch quite easily. And I think Poch likes that. He likes players who can deliver quality, but also when it comes to the work rate, he demands that as well. So I feel like he would actually be a good fit for Chelsea. I thought Mason Mount as well could be a good fit for Poch as well. And obviously, he's gone to United, but what players did you see sort of come in this season and actually having a really good year? So, no, again, you guys have let a lot of players go. So, what players do you think are going to do well this season, and what players that left were you disappointing to see the back of?
Um, I think obviously Chelsea fan is difficult because I think there's a lot of sentimental value about a lot of their
Yeah,
players. Like Havertz didn't really show up in the way which he probably should have done at Chelsea, but still had a lot of big moments for us. Obviously, winning Champions League. May sort of similarly was like, yeah, I'll play receiving
I
for
think
us as
Kante. I was
well.
surprised Kante went actually. I was surprised about him
Oh
going to.
yeah, I love Kante as well, but I think Kante, his legs just didn't have it in him to play like at Chelsea in the way
Oh,
which I
really?
think we want to play. Not because of the quality, but because of the injury piece. Isn't
Injuries,
like
right? Yeah.
yeah, he didn't have the legs to stay fit for like a 50, 60 game season and play when we need him to play. So I think we probably need to plan for him not being there, but it probably just makes sense for him just to not be there at all. I think Mudryk's a big one. I think we signed a lot of like sort of like Noni Madueke and a lot of other little attacking players who could be quite sort of strong for us going forward. But I think Mudryk was sort of the big sign for us who didn't score any goals for us last season. Looks looks sharp so far this season in pre-season. I think Nkuku looks really sharp for us in pre-season as well. It looks like he scored two goals in pre-season, but I know both sort of like tapped in type goals. But those are the kind of goals you want your striker to score. We haven't had a striker who scores those goals.
I think
I think
Chelsea
that's
now as well. I think it's all about energy, isn't it? You look at Chelsea in pre-season. A lot of it is not just quality, but it's the energy. How Poch wants his teams to be front-footed.
yeah. Chilwell looks like immense on the left hand side for us. If Chilwell can stay fit, I think we're a completely different side. Same thing for Reece James on the right hand side. But then we signed like a backup right back like Gusto looks really strong. Enzo, if we can get partners for Enzo midfield, I think that pretty much sort of like completes our team a little bit. I think every other area we've got a really strong starter and then a decent backup. Apart from that sort of midfield pairing where it's probably going to be like Enzo and Gallagher, but don't really know if they're a good sort of pivot together. I think probably needs. I don't want to say like Caicedo because just a drama that's sort of gone on for
Yeah,
ages. But
he's. I think. Do you know what's weird? I think Chelsea. I don't know what's it with Chelsea and Brighton. They've taken a manager. They've taken Cucurella. They've taken potentially Caicedo as well. I think they signed a goalkeeper as well, didn't they, recently? I mean, what's it
yeah,
with Chelsea and Brighton? Is there some sort of like build going on there? Just taking all their
uh,
staff, everything.
yeah, I don't know. They should might as well just buy the club at this point.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Easier,
might as well. To
save
be
a bit of
fair.
money, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know. To be fair, Brighton obviously a really good side. They've massively overachieved because they've got players who are very good. So it makes sense to try and go there to get players from. But I'm sure like Brighton only bought Caicedo last year. So like I don't know. I feel like 100 million for him is probably a little bit too much. But I think that there are a lot of players in there who have got a lot of potential, but just needs. I think they need the right system. I think the system we're playing last season, like three at the back, probably didn't suit a lot of players. I think Raheem Sterling, even though he's been a mainstay in the Premier League for years, hasn't shown enough at Chelsea, and I don't know if he will. I think next season's a big season for him. Because if he doesn't perform this season, I reckon we'll probably try and get him off the books, which would be hard, but I think we'll have to try and do. But it's really hard to say for Chelsea. I think it could be as low as where we were last season, but it could be as high as third or fourth. It really sort of depends on sort of confidence and making sure we get off to the right foot, which would be difficult because we've got Liverpool in the first game of the season.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting game actually. To be fair, but again, I think with Pochettino, I think to round up with Pochettino. Again, I think he's a good coach, an exciting coach, a coach who wants to play the right brand of football. I guess I want to say the right brand of football. I feel like when it comes to modern day football, it's all about attacking, it's all about energy and pressing. I think he does all of those things, and he can also deliver big results. Maybe not trophies as of now, but he does deliver quite a few big results, and not just in the Premier League, but also in Europe as well. So I feel like he would be a very good coach for Chelsea. And again, I think he'll get them challenging compared to where they were last season. It kind of fell apart for them. But I feel like with Poch coming in now, he's got all the right fundamentals to get the team playing the right way. So I think lastly, how do you see Pochettino, his future at Chelsea? Do you see him being a success ultimately? I know you said it's too early previously, but do you believe that he could actually get Chelsea going in the right direction and win a big trophy in the next couple of years?
Yes. I do think how we finish the transfer window will make a difference. I think a midfield partner for Renzo will be really important for us. I think that could be a bit of a missing piece, but I think Poch, he seems to sort of have a demeanour about him that sort of reassures a lot of the players. I think needed that from last season. I think they need someone who they can look up to and believe in and can organise them and get them sort of fit and running. And in the Premier League, that's obviously such a big part of things. I think it's all about sort of confidence and momentum. That's a big part of football. Like if you start the season well, or if you can start the season playing well, or if you can, even if you don't, you can sort of build into that and sort of maintain that belief and carry that through. And that's a massive part. I think the fact that we've got some players still in the squad who've won things, not loads of them, but still got Kepa, still got Thiago, recent Chilwell won Champions League. I think will help, and that's a sort of strong base. I think Reece as captain next season as well could be really good for us. Getting rid of just a lot of the negativity is really strong. I think at Poch, it's a lot easier job this year than it was for Potter taking it on last year, just because we've got a lot of the negativities been stripped out. And I think everyone wants to do better because it was so bad last season. So I think he's sort of got things set up for him to do well. If you were getting like Jose Mourinho from 2004 into the squad, I think he'd do absolute bits with it. We'll see with Poch what he can do, but hopefully, yeah, I think he's got the skills to be able to do it. It's just whether or not things will line up for him. If he gets unlucky with things, you never know about. Yeah.
Yeah, I think football's about luck as well, as you mentioned. It's all about a lot about luck. I think Jose came at the right time, as you mentioned, in 2004. Came at the perfect time, won the Champions League, and came into a team that had actually finished second, I think, the season before. So
we finished really strong, but
yeah,
but I think a lot of that team was just like they were young and they were hungry to win, and we had all sort of pieces in the right sort of places. He just came in and got the potential out of him because he was just that guy. I think if Poch can do that, then yeah. Could be in a good spot.
I guess the difference is Jose won the big one, isn't it? He won the Champions League before he came to Chelsea, and Poch has not won much. So I think that's the massive.
He had, but I think the difference as well.
And that's what gave Jose credit in the bank as well, I think.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. I think none of those players would won anything, so I think they almost needed someone to come in who won something. I think these players in Chelsea won things before, so it probably doesn't need Jose to come in and show the club how to win. The club know how to win. I think they just need someone to sort of get them in the place they need to get to win things.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, it's going to be a good season for Chelsea. Dylan, thanks for joining us today on Athletes Hub. And yeah, it's going to be a really exciting season for Chelsea and the whole of the league next year. So yeah, really looking forward to it. But yeah, listen, mate, really good to have you on, and thanks for your time today.
Yeah, of course, no problem, mate.
Right, man. Take care.
Cheers, mate.